Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage and the proud protector of the Hidden Leaf. He even protected it from the monster Nine-Tails Demon Fox. However, could he protect the village from the king of monsters, Godzilla? This would be Godzilla from the Monsterverse, thus legendary. And the essential lore for this taking place, it's the same night that Obito attacked on Konoha. And before Obito can enact his plans, Godzilla burst on the scene. And for the reason why Godzilla is pulling up in the first place, we can say he is sensing Kurama's disturbance with Kushina and Naruto's birth on the way. And with Goji's nature of proving himself as alpha over other kaiju, he would want to check on a power that can rival his throne. And of course, Minato, seeing a 300-foot monster, will instinctively act to fight to protect the Hidden Leaf. Legendary Godzilla is truly a force to be reckoned with. As in ancient Earth, he was able to tank the asteroid that caused the permanent impact, as seen in the official graphic novel Awakening, with said asteroid being calced upwards of 5 petatons of TNT or multi-continental. This multi-continental scaling is consistent as he's able to fight the kaiju Muto Prime, as seen in the official graphic novel Aftershock, which Muto Prime can create earthquakes that can unravel on a biblical scale, or whatever that means. But the creator of said novel or comic was able to say that she is able to destroy tectonic plates, with Godzilla tanking said attack even again confirmed by the author, with said feat again being calculated upwards of 5 petatons of TNT or still in the multi-continental range. Now, I hear in the comment sections the novels aren't canon. This stems from the quote, the retconning from Monarch Legacy, as it shows that they've deliberately ignored the said plot points from the comics. However, the director of said series openly states that there's a divergence within inside the canon, separating it from the mainline continuity and the comics. So Monarch can't really be used as a reason for why they aren't canon. You also have to remember that Legendary themselves openly advertises the notes, the comics, and the crucial points, the canonicity of the Monsterverse. Just simply, they haven't been able to explain said points within the movies. Even the official movie novelizations also give reference and talk about the comics within inside the storylines, and they actually happen, showing them being again canon to the mainline continuity. With that being said, Godzilla does have a higher end independent from the graphic novels, which comes from his feat of borrowing a hole into hollow earth, as his atomic breath works on the subatomic level. This is due to the actual atomic breath energy being stated to operate on the quantum level, which is just subatomic in nature, coupled with the fact that it's actually powered by nucleolysinic glands, which again is on the subatomic level. And for those that say they don't scale to the portion of which destroyed, we have King Ghidorah being stated to die due to the atomic incineration caused from Godzilla's atomic breath or pulse, showing that there is a correlation between the properties of the breath and the destruction it emits, as well as his breath just stated to be neutrons, which are just subatomic particles. With this being said, the atomic breath being on subatomic level will just be more massive, as is shown due to the mass he destroyed to actually get to hollow earth, with the actual feat being calculated in the planetary ranges. He not only scales to this, as Kong was able to absorb 2 prolonged shots from it and then hit it down on Godzilla point blank, which he just shrugged off, showing that he does scale to this, but he can potentially be scaled even higher, as he's able to briefly beam struggle and even tank Mechagodzilla's atomic breath while being heavily weakened. This is important, as in the Apex files we actually have a comparison between the both and their radiation outputs. At the time, Godzilla having a weakened state to have an output of 3.5 times 10 to the 14th power, while Mechagodzilla had 4.10 times 12 to the 16th power, which the actual difference between both outputs is 2,165 times. If we applied this amp to the already established AP for Godzilla, he would be able to output 5.542 times 10 to the 36 joules, or large planetary. And was stated that he was weakened by half of his power while fighting Mechagodzilla. This is prior to his already weakened state against Kong. So just doubling his power for the sake of simplicity, he would be able to output 1.108 times 10 to 37 joules, or essentially dwarf star level. Now in the current events of Godzilla x Kong New Empire, he is stated to have a base that almost equal as strong as himself when he was in his burning state during King of Monsters, with burning being stated to be the process of which stars go under, which is nuclear fusion, while Godzilla is normally being that of a nuclear reactor, which goes on the process of nuclear fission. Nuclear fusion at a base-to-base standpoint is 4 times greater than fission, making burning Godzilla a 4 times amp. Assuming he's only half as strong as that would be, he'd be 2 times stronger, still in the dwarf star level. Now mind you, this is all just in base. Now with his new evolved state being stated to amp both his strength and speed, which is confirmed in the movie to be a 20 times amp, he would still be dwarf star level, just way deeper in it. Now for speed, he's surprisingly fast for a 300-foot lizard, as his atomic breath is stated to be Cherenkov radiation. which just moves at 75% the speed of light. This can't be consistent that the atomic breath moves this fast, as Mechagodzilla's atomic breath is shown to be equal if not a bit faster than Godzilla's. This is important as his atomic breath is stated to be a proton cannon. Protons move at over 99% the speed of light. Now back to the scaling of this. Kong was seen to be able to dodge his breath in a particular way in one of the scenes. It took the breath 21 milliseconds for the breath to make its full trajectory, and Kong was able to complete his dodge within 15 millisecond mark, making Kong 1.4 times faster than the actual beam, or he would be 1.05 times the speed of light, or FTL. Which Godzilla scales to said Kong. If we follow the same scaling line as we've already presented and established, base Godzilla by Godzilla X Kong would be 4.2 times the speed of light, still faster than light. However, with his new evolved state, he'll be again 20 times that, and now would be 84 times the speed of light and reaching those faster than light plus ranges of speed. So for starters on Godzilla's abilities, he has high adaptability as he was able to adapt and fight in zero gravity instantly when he was never able to fight in that before. He's also able to absorb the DNA of others inside him. He also has a passive radioactive aura to the point where no one, including humans or their tech, could even get close to him without being substituted to the radiation. He also has energy absorption, even to the point where he can absorb all kind of things to further his own strength and evolve. As shown as he's able to absorb King Ghidorah's so-called lightning, which is actually gravity, meaning he can even absorb fundamental forces or energies. He can also produce a 30-mile radius EMP blast. He has a very unique form of extra perceptionary. He also has resistances to extreme cold on the atomic level, as Shimo can directly freeze atoms, and resistance to durability negation, as he can tank the monsterverse versions of nuclear bombs, which inside said monsterverse can destroy matter on its most fundamental levels, which would logically incline subatomic matter such as protons or neutrons, as well as produce said durability negation, as we've already established his AP would scale to that in said section of the video, as well as quantum manipulation and space-time destruction, as he's able to destroy the space-time to get to Hollow Earth, as well as fear manipulation resistances, as Shimo can produce and install fear into others just as her presence, and Godzilla is able to overcome this and resist it. He can even fight with the radiation in him weaken or absorb, and tank the process of enduring over nuclear fusion and go supernova and produce said supernovas. With a live Minato obviously being weaker than his Edo self as he doesn't have access to KCM, we must find out where he scales. He is shown to scale to Obito, which is shown to scale to KCM to Naruto. He's even shown to be compared to said Naruto by Kakashi with just a display of Naruto's power and speed. At KCM 2 Naruto stated at the full power of Kurama at his disposal, meaning he would scale to Kurama to an extent. Kurama is stated to be able to turn the world to ash. Now people have contention with this world statement, as in Japanese sekai or world means society, world, and the universe. However, the kanji being used isn't a sekai but it's yo, which only refers to society and the world. But in Buddhist text it can only be translated to as world, which Buddhism is heavily prevalent within Naruto, meaning it can only be in reference to the actual planet. Not to mention, if they were truly talking about society, they would just say Konoha, as that's the society they would be in reference to, which is something that data books do when they are referring to the society. However, they specifically make a delineation between saying world and Konoha. Not to mention, again, the data books reference Kurama's planetary power, as it's literally stated he has earth-shattering power. Even years later in the Boruto bonus ninjutsu directory, it's again reiterated on this point as stated that just his Kurama's Bijudamas have enough power to blow away the earth. Now you probably have heard most, if not all, those planetary arguments, however I just might have cooked up one you've never heard of before, as KCM2 Naruto can power the entirety of the Shinobi Alliance, making them over 3 times stronger, so at least 4 times. This is important as a random, no-name, nor rank shinobi can power the chakra cannon, which mind you, it's highly unlikely these shinobi are stronger than the ones that were for fighting in the war, as there's nothing to support this, so just assuming that they're equal is a logically sound argument, as we're not assuming they are weaker nor stronger, as there's no evidence to support both. Anyway, the chakra cannon is stated to have enough power to destroy the moon from them, which by my math it took 112 shinobi to do so. Now there was at the start of the war 80,000 of the alliance, even assuming that there's only 40,000 left. If we divide that number by 112 for representation of what to destroy the moon, then we get the number 357.14, meaning that the shinobi alliance had the power to destroy the moon over 300 times. Now that being said, Naruto powering them up over 4 times over, that would make Kurama by proxy being able to destroy the moon 1428.56 times over, or the output would actually be 1.771 times 10 to 32 joules, or essentially planetary, which again is highly consistent with the pre-established feats and metas for Kurama. As we were established in the previous scaling line, he would scale to KCM2 Naruto, so just how fast is said Naruto. As in early part 1, Kakashi is able to react and counter Itachi's Water Fang bullet, which is just stated in the second data book to travel at the speed of light. Now people will try to claim that this is inconsistent as the same Itachi couldn't react to the Kirin, which is just lightning. However, he not only did react and countered it with his Susanoo, but he was also on the verge of dying and going blind. Not to mention that Kirin isn't just the speed of lightning as what some think, as in the second data book it states that Kirin goes at the speed of light with its attacks, and again inside the second Naruto fan book it states that Kirin moves at the speed of light. While Zetsu's statement isn't directly in reference to the jutsu, but the fact that he knows how fast lightning is, which he assumed the jutsu was just purely the speed of lightning. He would have no idea of the properties of this jutsu as it was newly made by Sasuke, and the two statements have more precedence than Zetsu as they come from a higher narrative and they fit the context more than Zetsu's own knowledge of lightning in relation to the actual properties of the jutsu. It would be completely illogical and disingenuous to say that lightning timers in Naruto are godly, as we have a kid Kakashi being able to legit outspeed and chop a lightning bolt, as well as shortly after, just to make this point consistent, on the verge of blinding Mangekyo Sharingan is legit able to react to Darui's laser circuits, which is just stated to be rays of light, making it very consistent that shinobi of this caliber would be well beyond the speed of light. Going back to this, Kakashi's feat is calculated upwards of 2.5 times the speed of light. And against Pain, he is using the Raikiri, which is stated to amp 1 speed when used. It's just assuming that 2 times amp, he would be 5 times the speed of light. Even when using his Mangekyo Sharingan, it's completely useless in comparison to Pain. Within the Itachi light novels, it's stated that the Mangekyo makes one several times stronger off from the ordinary Sharingan. Several by definition is a factor of 3 or more, so just assuming 3, Kakashi would be 15 times the speed of light. And just assuming Pain is only 2 times above this, he would be 30 times the speed of light. This can be consistent as just it's stated that both Pain and Sage Mode Naruto were in a class of their own, supplementing them as being the strongest shinobi at this time. With KCM2 being Kurama's full power incarnate, we need to know how much stronger it is than Sage Mode, which I've always said Sage Mode Naruto is at least a 5 tails equivalent, as well as just a base Jiraiya scales to a 4 tails Naruto. With Sage Mode, he was just completely stated to surpass Jiraiya in every in his eternity, which is consistent as he showed no worry against a 4 tails Naruto when he popped up, but against Sage Mode Naruto he was shown to struggle and decently worried about his fight. As well as the second he decided to become Kurama's chakra mode, he instantly went to a 6 tails from his 4 tails, showing he needed more power than the 4 tails worth and a 5 tails worth. So just going based off the showing, Sage Mode is stronger than a 4 tails but weaker than a 6 tails, hence why I would say it's at least a 5 tails equivalent. And for the multiplier, we know that just 1 tails is a 10 times amp, as it's shown to be equal to a curse mark version 2 amp Sasuke, which is consistently stated that said curse mark is a 10 times amp overall. If we just assume that each tail is just an increase of another factor of 10, then KCM2 would be a 90 times amp and Sage Mode would be a 50 times amp, making the amp difference between the two a 1.8 times difference, and Minato 58 times the speed of light or faster than light plus ranges of speed. And for Minato's abilities, he has Sealing Jutsu, so strong that he can suppress the Nine Tails' power. He even has the Reaper Death Seal, which is a form of soul manipulation as he can directly seal the soul. However, he dies after you use it, so it's not the most optimal jutsu. And space-time manipulation via teleportation, as the Flying Raijin Jutsu allows one to transcend time and space within his teleportations. As well as he can crack open the space-time continuum to teleport other objects to different places if needed be. After going with both stats, we can see that Godzilla has a massive AP advantage and a slight speed advantage. Really how this fight's gonna go down is that Godzilla will just hit Minato once and he would die. Though you can say that this fight will draw out if Minato can evade with his teleportation, as he would have home turf due to him being in Konoha. However, he can only do so much with skill. Not to mention that Godzilla has far better range than Minato with his AoE. And God forbid if he opens with an atomic breath similarly to how Kurama opened with his Bijudama, as Minato's barrier was barely able to uphold 2 while Godzilla can throw out a continuous blast rather than just one blast shot. And Minato's regular sealing jutsu shouldn't do anything, as this isn't a predominantly thing that he uses, not to mention that he never tried to use it on Kurama or even the Ten Tails when he had a chance to. With the Reaper Death Seal maybe his only thing that we consider a win con if it wasn't for the fact that Godzilla, or rather the monsters, doesn't have a soul or some type of metaphysical aspect of their very being, so it wouldn't actually do anything to be able to seal him, and Minato would literally just kill himself for nothing. Thank you guys for watching, and overall, Legendary Godzilla will win most times and not, if not every time that I can think of, as Minato essentially has no win cons. And if you like this Godzilla versus Naruto content, or if you have any other verses for Legendary Godzilla to run the ones with, please leave a like and let me know in the comments. In fact, if this video gets 200 likes, I will put out a Legendary Godzilla versus Kurama video within the next 2 videos or less. Anyway, that's all, and see you on the next one.